it's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147, and I thought I'd give you a little update on my Heaven and Earth designs. So, for those that don't know, I am doing a cross stitch pattern onto a blank canvas. I do have a video that gives you details of what I'm planning to do and how I'm planning on doing it. But a few things have sort of been happening in the background, as well as doing a little bit more of the design, which I'm sort of in the middle of. But I thought I'd give you a little update on how I've changed-ish my storage for my diamonds. I've not changed them hugely, they are still in these 60 bottle containers. But I do now have 4 of them. So that is enough for all the colours that will be needed for this. So there's 239 colours needed. So of course that leaves one space. But I have sorted them into some sort of order. So my first one, which is my blue case, I have ordered them all, put them in order. And this case contains all the letters. So anything that to me looked like a letter. Now, that may be different for some people. Of course, I've got a couple of O's with different symbols on. What was a weird one that didn't particularly look like a letter? Yes, it was this P. So this P, or sort of a rocket ship, I'm not even sure if it's going to focus on it. That isn't necessarily a letter, but it reminded me of a letter. So it's very much what suits you, but I'm finding this method is so much easier to find diamonds. Even now I've got all the colours in there, I'm finding it so much easier. So the letters go all the way up to Z here. I've then got the one that's sort of an A and an E together and an O and an E together, because they're in the letter family. I've got the numbers 1 through to 9, and then I've got the fractions. So that is all what is in this tub. So if I'm looking for a letter, a number or a fraction, this is where I go. And then I moved on to the next, what sort of made sense to group together for me, and that is in this orange one. And this is versions of circles, triangles, squares, diamonds and ovals. So I've got all the circles in sort of these top 2 rows, going from your solid to a cross through to dots in the middle. Now, one thing to note, if it will focus on it, is that these two are very similar. They're circles with a circle inside. One is bigger than the other. So by putting those close to each other, it means that I pay a little bit more attention to check that it is the right symbol. So I've got all the circles, then I've got all the triangles, even the one that looks like a mountain or a pencil top. To me, they fit best in the triangles, and then I go on to sort of the squares and then the diamonds. So we've got diamonds inside diamonds, we've got 4 diamonds together, and then I've got a few ovals sort of filling up that one. So that was my second one. My third one, which is this green one, has arrows of some sort, whether it be like the end of a bow and arrow, or whether it be dash marks, you know, anything that was arrow-ish has sort of gone in here, followed by keyboard symbols. So things I recognise as easy keyboard symbols. We've got asterisks, we've got question marks, we've got dollar signs, pound signs, percentages. We've even got your little R for is it registered, or C in a circle. So all those sorts of things, 2 dots together. Any sort of keyboard symbols are here. And then I've got things that look like a flower. A few different types, but that sort of filled that bottom row. This one, no, one of them does have another symbol in it. It's just sort of on my desk working, and then I do have a blank space in this one. You know, there's one space that I don't need something, so I wasn't going to group it together if it didn't suit. So that's that box. And then last but not least is my new pink box, of which these pots have been pinched for ever moment, but once I've finished that one they'll go in here. And this is just everything else. So I've tried to club it together, so we've got like tally marks up here, we've got hearts together, stars together, suns and moons, symbols for like a deck of cards, like a club and a spade, tick marks, things like that. Anything that didn't quite fit into one of the others has gone in here, but I've tried to group them to similar symbols, and I am finding this way of working so much easier. I have 4 cases sort of surrounding me, and I've found finding the symbols for the chart so much easier. So that's the major sort of update. On top of that, I do have a colour that I have just got today in an Ever Moment painting, and they sent me 2 little bags, and really according to their numbers I only need 1. So what I've done is I've popped the other one in this tub, and I'm going to see if I've got any that I can sort of fill gaps with. Oh, won't let me zoom out if I've selected something. So we'll search text and see how many of them we can find. So let's have a look. Oh, we do have some up near the top here. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because I have filled in some of these colours that have been missing before. So they are slightly different shades. So it's actually the first gap I find is one of these. So we'll highlight that. And then if I scroll down, I've got 2, ooh, no, you're not going in there. I've got 2 missing, which are Y, and then one across is this symbol. So this is like a nice purple symbol. Let's have a look if we've got any more across that one. Yes, we do. So to confirm, this is sort of along the same lines. So we're along this line here, 3rd row down, and I'm actually all the way over here up in this top little cluster. Not sure if you can sort of see that. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. See if I can keep you guys sort of in a bit of focus. So that was the 3rd line. So now if we go to the 4th line, so we're on line 4, which is this sort of line, and then we have this random one up the top, which is another colour. Where's the one I wanted? Here. So it's in this little cluster, it's that one. So you can also sort of see the outline that's going around by the blue, which does sort of help me find out which one it is. And then there is one just below on the next line, and that is, if I follow the line across, it is near the top. Is it that one? Have a look. So if I follow the line right across, one down, yes it is. So I'm going to do those 2. Now I have had a lot of people asking me of what spare diamonds I do still need. I have got a lovely lady who is sending me quite a lot of diamonds. She was placing an order for her own Heaven and Earth designs and had spare quantities, so I am waiting for those to arrive first before I update everybody. So I'm just going to use my ruler and I'm across on line 5, which is not there, it's there. And then the first gap down here has already been filled in, so the first one I need is this one. And then that one's the one we filled in before. If I scroll across, there's another one here, and it goes there because the rest is already filled in. So now if we go down to line 6, this is where it really starts getting complicated, when I'm right in the thick of it. So we've got 2 together, so across on line 6, the 2 very close to, oh, it's these 2, because the other one is that one, because all the other colours around it have actually been filled in. This is why I'm not going to highlight them in purple going forward, because I do think it is still a little bit too difficult when filling in gaps to know which ones. And then these 2 gaps, these 2 gaps of those 2. So let's scroll across. Any more on the number 6? No. 7. So if we go across to 7, there is 1 here at the bottom. If I can get this to turn over. Maybe I just need to tip some more in. So on the number 7, I've got 1 here across the bottom. So that's this first one that we hit. And the other one has already been done. And then we have this one here, which leaves those 2 that still need filling in. So highlight that one. And then we've got 1 here, up in the topish corner. So if I follow the 7 line across, let's push that diamond in, it's this one here. Would have helped if I had a diamond on my pen first. So number 7. So row 7 is this one, it's this one here. Yeah, because all the others around it are filled in apart from this one, which is this one down here to the left. So that's right. And then, did I fill that one in? Oh. So I think that's it. Yeah. Oh no, it's not. There's 1 here. There's 1 here. So we'll put that one in there. And then we've got a cluster of 3 gap. That's still right. And then over here we've got a couple more gaps, but that's further off the page. So we'll highlight that one. So that is that colour all filled in and caught up. Not that you can really see where they're missing at the moment. It's very much the white sort of spots don't affect it at all. So what I thought I'd do is, as well as giving you that little update on where I'm up to with my Heaven and Earth designs, is I'll do a little bit more. Just get that to roll up a little bit more while I'm with you. So I've done sort of a few rows. I'm doing the last section of the page, so it doesn't quite hit a full 10 So I have just trimmed my contact little paper, so there's only just a little bit to cover those bottom 2 rows, but that keeps those protected. And I'm working on this section of 4, seeing if I can get everything in shot with still having a good zoom. If not, I might have to zoom out a little bit. I think you can sort of see there, it's a very big zoom. In fact, yeah, I'm on like 500% zoom, but I find that's great for finding it all. So I can go straight to my hearts. I know exactly where they are because of my new system. So I'm going to try it this way. If I do find that I'm struggling to find the different symbols, I will go back to finding them before I start a section of WIP and Chat. But we're going to see how it goes with me hunting for them. So I'm going to do it by square. So that's those 3 in that square. And then underneath we go there and here. And this is where also highlighting the missing colours in purple can be confusing, because part of me thinks that it should be a filled in square on here because it's purple on here, and that's not the case. So it means I have to double check when I come across something purple. So that's those 3. So I'll highlight all 3 before I move on to the next square. So we've got 1, 2. Counting cross stitch, this is where it comes from. You spend your life counting. So I find myself counting when I put them down. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9, and then I count when I highlight them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's like my double check that I have placed 9 diamonds and I have marked off 9 diamonds. So the next symbol I need is the ampersand. Now I'm always trying to search for the text over in a different section than I've highlighted. That just means I don't have to flatten the document as much because it doesn't think I'm clicking on something I've already done. So the ampersand is in keyboard symbols, so I've managed to grab hold of that one. Now this one does mark 2 symbols. It's not very often that this app highlights 2 symbols for in effect 1 symbol. So I've highlighted the ampersand, but it's actually showing me an ampersand and a flower. It's not very often it does both. I think it is purely down to the fact that there is 239 symbols in this painting. I think whatever the flower is must be an ampersand in one type of font, and therefore it's finding them both. Otherwise it is normally really good, but when that does happen I just do both the symbols it highlights, because it's not worth leaving that symbol and then having to find it again to be able to highlight it. So I will be doing both of them. Let's just get the rest of these ampersands down. There's quite a few in that one. Hopefully not too many more because I've not got enough of the colour. I'm going to need some more of those at some point. And then the next one is a flower symbol, or in my head it's a flower symbol. So that's also in the same tub as my ampersands were, which helps. This is sort of a deep mauvey colour. Mauve. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 on this square. So then I'll go through and highlight. And then we've got 1, 2, 3. I have found as well that there's been quite a few new symbols in this sort of bottom section, as though this part of the tree is going to start turning into something else. So that's been quite nice, apart from I found another couple of colours that I haven't had. So I have ended up with a couple more gaps, but I say we will see what it looks like once this lovely lady has sent me some of the colours that I'm short of, and hopefully I'll be able to move on to the second page with some gaps filled. I've just spotted that one. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this method works great most of the time. On this section I did do the 939s and still managed to completely miss one. But hey ho, it happens. So I'm going to move across to the next one, which is a circle with a line through. So I'll go straight to my circles, and there it is, 550. There's always quite a bit of 550 around here, but I get to fill up some of these little single places. And then we've got 1. And then 3rd after the first 2, so that's still 5. All you find is yourself counting in your head constantly. And then we've got a little group of 3. 2, 3, and then 1 in that little gap, 1 down here, 2 up there. Every now and then you catch yourself just referencing the chart, the canvas as well, just to check that you did actually put a diamond in that place. And here's another one where this purple is distracting. I need to make sure that I realise that because it's purple, it doesn't mean that there's a diamond in its spot on my actual chart. Which is why, going to page 2, I'm not going to be highlighting them in another colour. But one thing you do need to be aware of, and the reason I can't change them another colour, is on this app, which is Easy PDF, every now and then you have to what you call flatten the image. Otherwise it constantly thinks, so if I try and click on a symbol here now that's close to the one I've just done, it thinks I'm wanting the symbol I've just tapped, not the fact that I'm wanting the one in the middle. Because that happens, you have, once you flatten the image, so if I now flatten it, it tells you that the file will be saved, but you can't then backtrack after that, so you need to be sure that you've marked the right things. But then when I try and highlight now in the middle, it will let me, because in effect it's saying, okay, this is final, don't want to make any changes to this, save it. So it's a great thing to have, but you do need to be aware that when you do flatten it, you're not going to be able to go back or undo or unhighlight, which has stopped me from unhighlighting any of these, whether they're ones that I've now got or not. So I do need to keep checking so that I can fill in those gaps. So yeah, that's my little sort of couple of tips on the app. I do hope to do a more detailed thing about the app, but I want to wait until I'm on page 2, and then I can show you from a blank document. Doesn't matter what I do to it, I can always bring up the original to start on my second page. So that will be very soon. I've only got a little section here, sorry, the film saved. So yeah, it will be something I'll be doing very soon. I am very nearly at the end of page 1. I have quite a few videos in my head that I'm planning on doing. It's just actually getting round to doing them. That seems to have been the stopping point, is finding the time to actually put in the time to actually get it done, so that I can give what I hope will be quite a detailed answering all your questions sort of tips and tricks on this app from what I've learnt. I'm by no means an expert. I'm on my first Heaven and Earth designs. I'm on my first page of my first Heaven and Earth designs, and I wasn't even using the app when I started. But hopefully any hints and tips I can give you will allow many of you to get started using the app and see how you like it. Even just making sure that you download the one for the iPad, if that's what you're using, because they do charge for this app, and there is both a phone and an iPad app, so you don't want to pay for the phone one when you actually really want the iPad one. So that's that one, and then I need an upside down question mark is my next one. But what I'm also looking for is one that is free for me to tap on it and highlight the text, because it's always trying to make me go on the one next to it, and it doesn't seem to want to allow me to select. Oh, there we go, I've selected it. So upside down arrow straight away in my keyboard symbols, and I think I'm even finding them just as quick, if not quicker, than if I lined up them all on my desk. I think I'm still, at the moment, bar the odd symbol, I'm still finding them just as quick, which is really good, because it means I can pop them back in their places and not end up with a row of tubs on my desk for about a week like I did the last time. So now, oh, I've highlighted that U and I didn't mean to highlight it. What I meant to do, excuse me, was search. Oh, and that's far too many for the 2 I need. And they are different shades of the same colour, but I really don't mind. So that's one. Let's highlight the one down here. And then we want the triangle facing that way, so we'll pinch it from over here, and that again has done highlighted 2 different symbols, and I'm going straight for my triangles, and I try and keep all my sort of open triangles and my block triangles all together to make that easier to search. So we've got one, we've got quite a few of these, 2, 3, and then 4. So I'm tapping on each one individually to highlight those 4. Then I'll move down into the next sort of square block. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. 5, and then we've only got 2 in each of these, so I'll probably just put them all together if I get my diamonds the right way up. 2 on that page, and then 2 down here. And that's that all done. Now we do have another symbol with it, and it's actually that rocket that I was talking about. Sort of looks like a rocket, but I also class it as being the letter P. That was also the symbol that highlighted, so I'm going to fill those in as well. So I've only got 1 on that one. This is why I'm dipping just my pen into the pot. The pot's quite full, and I've only got a couple of them, and that's those done. And then I need that U symbol somewhere else. There's one down here, will it let me? Nope, it keeps thinking I'm pressing on something else. What about that one? No. This is the only part that makes it a little bit of a pain when you're working on such a bitty design, is the fact that it doesn't let you click on a symbol when you've highlighted something close to it. And this one has also highlighted two different symbols, so I will do them both. So firstly we'll do this letter U. There's 1, 2, 3. So that's all the letter U done, and then the other symbol it's highlighted is actually a black, which is a square with a hole in. So I'm going straight to my tray with squares. So if you're doing a Heaven and Earth designs, somebody recommended it to me on this channel. One of the comments recommended that I actually sorted them by symbol, and oh my goodness me, it is so much quicker. It took quite a while to sort of decide what I thought the symbols were going to be, and punch out the little circles and get them in, you know, what I thought was the right order. Luckily my daughter helped me. She was helping me tip the diamonds in and stuff, so that definitely made things a bit better. And I've just realised that I have filled in that heart, but I haven't highlighted it. So I'm just going to search text, which will allow me to highlight even if I've highlighted one close by. If you've searched for the text and you've got it up, it will let you highlight them close together. So that's another hint and tip for anybody that's doing one of these. So now what do we need? We need this flower over here. And because I've not highlighted anything recently, it won't let me highlight that one. So that's in my flowers. And it's this one. Ooh, 161. I don't think I've done this one in a while. Little hint of blue. And we're on that one there. And highlight. So just one of those, and then I need to find this A that it will let me highlight. Put this one down here. Yes. Okay, so we've got A with a little tick above the top. So of course straight to my ABCs. And my A's are of course at the top. So we've got one here, and then 2, 3, 2, 3, and then coming down to this one, we've got 1 across the bottom, 2. I would have normally carried on to the next square counting, but this square's got quite a lot. So sometimes it's good just to highlight and then do a big batch all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, we say a big batch, it's only 5, but it's 5 scattered all over the place. Come on, let me highlight. And that's those 5 done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to plod on and get this square section finished. I just wanted to give you an update for those asking and being so generous as to share spare diamonds. Also a couple of little hints about the app that hopefully will help some of you, and to let you know how I've sorted my diamonds and what that looks like. I will be doing some more WIP and chats. I know I'm definitely going to try and do this last sort of section with you guys before I move on to the top part, but I just want to get a little bit of a head start across the bottom here, and of course I'll be back once I can fill in these gaps and we can start to see what the first page completed really looks like. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all again soon.